just 2 decades of production history. It rose to the top of China's 5 most celebrated ceramics. No intricate patterns or flamboyant decorations, just a single, serene shade of celadon blue, like the sky breaking open after a rainstorm, without the original kill. Its essence could never be fully recaptured. Today, fewer than 20 authentic pieces of ru exist in the world to revive that ethereal blue. Master ceramicist Zhu Wenli devoted her entire life, but the pieces she crafted couldn't match the lightness and clarity of the originals. Many shattered in the process, turning into fragments scattered across the workshop floor. After countless tests, she realized the key might lie in the glaze formula, so she turned to the mountains of Ruzhou, searching among local minerals for lost knowledge. But the true test still lay in firing. The porcelain bodies were dipped in glaze twice. After the first coat, the glaze couldn't dry completely, or the second layer would trap bubbles. Next, the surface was gently refined for a flawless finish. Then came the kill firing. Each piece had to be spaced precisely for even heating. A fire observation shield was placed to monitor the temperature in real time. Rule requires 12 stages of firing. At each one, the glaze color subtly shifts. Samples are pulled at intervals to monitor the changes in the first 30 minutes after firing. The glaze on the sample piece continues to transform. Only at the final moment can one know if that unique sky blue hue has emerged through meticulous tracking of temperature patterns. Zhu Wenli finally found the crucial curve behind the perfect roux glaze. That legendary blue finally reappeared, neither entirely blue nor green, but in sunlight. A soft glow reveals a gentle touch of yellow. The successful firing stunned the entire ceramics world. After 800 years of silence, the color of the Song dynasty was reborn, radiant, alive, and full of soul. A man climbs down a sheer 100-meter cliff, placing his life in nature's hands, just to gather a rare delicacy rock fungus. It resembles a dried leaf and takes 30 years to grow to the size of a palm. Isolated cliffs shelter it from disturbance, but also make it nearly impossible to harvest. Those who gather are called Urk. Among them, there's a saying: coal miners are buried but breathing. Rock pickers have passed without a grave. It's a job that demands both courage and luck. You might climb all day and still not find a single bloom. That's why rock fungus can sell for thousands per pound. Out of respect for nature, harvesters leave behind immature fungi, marking them to give them time to grow, freshly picked. Rock fungus is crisp and delicate. A slight pinch breaks it apart, but soak it in warm water. Rub it gently by hand, and it becomes tender and springy, releasing a light, earthy fragrance. Once rehydrated, its black surface reveals raised patterns, similar in texture to tripe. It's a rare and nourishing food, known for refreshing the body and soothing the lungs. No need for elaborate cooking, just pair it with smoked meat. Heat some oil, salt garlic and bacon until aromatic. Add water and the soaked fungus. The fungus soaks up the flavor of the meat, while releasing its own subtle aroma. You can always count on China's state gifts to seem unassuming till you look closer. What appears to be a silk scarf on a golden plate can't be lifted at all. That's because it's not silk. It's carved entirely from pure silver, blended seamlessly with the golden base. Its soft folds, intricate textures, and shifting highlights under changing light make it more convincing than real fabric. This illusion is only possible through China's 3,000-year-old craft of fine metal engraving, traditionally used on bronze. This masterpiece was created on silver, just 0.6 millimeters thick, to mimic the graceful lines of real silk. Artisan Meng Jianfeng created custom tools for the job. First, a spring is heated until glowing, then straightened and trimmed into delicate chisels to simulate the silk texture. Meng studied ancient tool designs. He carved lines on the tool's tip, only 0.07 millimeters wide, as fine as a strand of hair. This required intense focus. One wrong move could erase hours of work. It took 18 days to complete this part alone. Then came the drilling. Following a detailed design, he drilled precise lines into the ultra-thin silver sheet, creating a woven textile pattern. Each drill stroke had to be completed in one go. No pausing, no hesitating, left no room for error. In the end, the finished work was indistinguishable from real silk, leaving international guests awestruck. This tireless artistry, this full-hearted devotion, is the true essence of Chinese cultural mastery, carried forward for thousands of years with meticulous care. The old master wraps the Buddha statue in delicate Xuanzi paper. Then, he brushes on a layer of ink. In this way, a three-dimensional sculpture is transformed into a flat, two-dimensional image. The details and textures it preserves are even more precise than those captured by a scanner. Many cultural relics that have vanished or been damaged have been documented and passed down through this technique. Traditionally, China practiced surface rubbings, laying Xuanzi paper over carved stone inscriptions, dabbing it with ink, and gently tapping it into place. The carved lines, surface wear, and age of the stone are faithfully transferred to the paper. Being able to come into direct contact with historical relics gives rubbing an irreplaceable advantage over photography, but no one had ever attempted a three-dimensional rubbing, conducting urgent documentation of aging sculptures, leaving behind precious visual archives for the future. To begin a 3D rubbing, the paper must first be soaked and softened. Only then can it mold seamlessly to the sculpture's surface. He then presses out the excess water to achieve the perfect dampness. This 6-meter-tall Shakyamuni Buddha from the Northern Wei dynasty was Li's latest subject. After meticulous measuring and planning, he carefully applied the dampened Xuanzi paper to the Buddha's face and body for raised areas. The paper had to be trimmed with scissors and repositioned in layers. What makes 3D rubbing so complex is the sculpture's unpredictable depth and contours. Li had to complete the wrapping before the paper dried completely. Then came the inking, a process repeated over 10 times. Subtle traces left by ancient artisans emerged clearly on the finished rubbing. Once complete, the paper was gently peeled off because the paper had been trimmed to follow the contours of the statue. The result was fragmented. Li then sorted each piece and began the painstaking puzzle of reconstruction. This process draws from archaeology, fine art, and technical mapping. Each segment required absolute concentration, thousands of fragments. This is a version of fireworks you've likely never seen. The master dips a wooden ladle into iron heated over 1,600 degrees Celsius. As sparks fly, he hurls it into the sky, molten iron blossoms into a brilliant shower of glowing light. Joy rises with every burst, and people make heartfelt wishes under the fiery sky. This is China's ancient art of molten iron fireworks. It dates back to the Northern Song dynasty. The strike must be powerful and perfectly placed for the fireworks to scatter fully overhead. Keep in mind, this is molten metal at over 1,600 degrees Celsius. Even a single stray drop can cause serious injury before the show begins. Masters prepare the stage with clay pots and an old central pole. Striking that pole is said to bring luck in the coming year. They melt scrap metal in a nearby furnace, and when night falls, bonfires light up the scene at full heat. Today, the craft is fading, with stricter fireworks regulations in place. These dazzling displays are becoming increasingly rare, so if you're lucky enough to witness it, take a moment to honor these true masters with a thumbs up. A man carefully carves a strip of rocket propellant. Every cut brings him face to face with extreme danger. A single spark of static could ignite the fuel instantly, but he's been doing this for 29 years. His name is Su Liping, a solid fuel shaping specialist for aerospace rocket engines. The precision required for fuel surfaces is extreme. They must match the engine's specifications exactly. Any slight friction or misstep could lead to disaster. So far, only hand carving can meet the needed accuracy. This is one of the most dangerous steps in rocket production, so his years of experience allow him to judge thickness by touch alone. His margin of error is less than 0.2 millimeters per cut. Even with such skill, Su treats each task with the utmost care, as if it were his first time. The engine he's working on has the largest fuel capacity in China today. He must remove exactly 5 millimeters from the fuel's surface before beginning. He and his assistant open every door in the facility. If something goes wrong, those doors are their only exit. Everyone else leaves the room, and the two begin their silent battle with danger. Each cut must be even, without hesitation or repeat strokes. Each shaving of fuel is carefully weighed. Once the fuel is shaved, its surface area increases, raising the risk of static ignition. So every 500 grams must be sealed in anti-static bags immediately. The carving process lasts an entire day. It demands incredible focus and endurance. The sounds of breath, heartbeat, and slicing fuel remind Su to stay fully alert. He once watched a colleague engulfed in flames, a memory that fuels his discipline. Every tool and position is precisely arranged. Even so, new challenges arise every time.